family. Welcome to a holiday spectacular special fashion show red carpet event for this year, December 2021. My name is Christie Ramirez and I'm a soul coach, and I come up here every month with this free show provided by my spiritual counseling TV network to educate, but also to gather and talk about the spiritual journey. What are these different themes and energies that we need to overcome on our soul journey to continue to evolve, to continue to grow, and to continue to expand into our highest potential? Because that's what this show's about. And I came up with a wonderful theme. You know, we are nearing the end of season 1 with this fashion show, and December's theme, we're one show away from the final episode of the season 1, and the theme for this month is spiritual evolution. This is a very important step in our journey because I won't give you the hint for what's January's theme, but we are evolving right now, and it's different than the soul evolution, because spiritual evolution is more about the journey that we're talking about, and that affects us individually on our soul growth. So with this evolution, I feel like it's even very much collective. Like, as a humanity, we are evolving, and this is very powerful because this is the cosmic experiment basically playing out and coming to fruition, and it's doing a good job. What it means is that it's working. The experiment is working, and this is good news because we are the experiment, right? As humans, we are here as part of an experiment. And I know that this can be a little bit confusing to some of you, or maybe you're not aware of this. So I think that we should bring this to today's conversation, because this is what the theme is, really what God is guiding me to talk about. More about the cosmic mission now, the cosmic experiment, the number 144000000, which is actually a number in the Bible. And that is the chosen numbers of light workers, and to be more specific, the chosen number of spiritual couples that have been incarnated here on this planet. And there's something very interesting. I feel like even the Palladians are coming in today, which are a star system, and there's an important message for light workers, and it really ties in with today's theme of spiritual evolution. Because if you're on the train, on the love train, because remember that our mission involves love. I'm not talking about romantic love, although that is involved in the spiritual love dynamic, but it's more about also love for humanity, love for what you do, love for the mission, for your projects. And this is what's being called forth. Are you on the love train, on the Polar Express? Because we are in this Christmas special, right? Are you on the Polar Express to the right path, your soul path, the kingdom of heaven? Because that is our final destination, right? At the end of our life, at the end of our journey. And even at the end of this whole cosmic experiment, what is the goal, you want to say? The goal is actually to return to our innate nature. Now that sounds paradoxical, right? Because why are we kind of growing up again, you can say? Because I've said this before, but we've incarnated here with a blank mind, an erased consciousness almost. And it's been those who are awoken on their journey, so hence they've experienced a spiritual awakening, that they've undergone the remembering process, because that's basically what it is. It's not like we're learning something new, we're just remembering where we came from, what is the truth that we all innately on a deep ancestral DNA level have access to. And this is the level of higher consciousness that we are aiming to reach. And it's not even the 5th dimension that we're speaking about, where you already can connect to your angels, you can connect to your spirit guides. Yes, that is ascension. Yes, that is the spiritual realm. But guess what? There's higher dimensions even above that. And this is the experiment. I did teach you all about this in, I believe it was the October fashion show, one of the fashion shows. I taught you all the 12 dimensions. I think it was the March or the April, I'm not quite sure. But I taught you all of those different 12 dimensions and different themes that each one correlates to, and what is required for you to be able to reach that higher level of consciousness. And that's the frequency that we vibrate at. And depending on what level of consciousness you're at, also depends the level of your spiritual gifts and the development of them, right? And so as light workers right now, everyone who's watching here and is interested in what I say as a light worker, we are being upgraded, you can say, in the level of responsibility, duty, even a renewal of our commitment to God and this mission. Because there are many light workers right now that even light workers are being asked to leave the planet, right? And that's a nice way of saying basically that no longer will they be here, right? Because this is something that Earth has been purging ever since this whole tragedy began. And I know that people who are not awoken don't see it this way. They just see it as something that happened and just accept it. But that's the mistake, because there's always a deeper issue to everything that happens, right? There's always something spiritual behind it. There's always God, and if you believe in God, you know that anything is possible, and God can create miracles and even divine intervention, which is what this has been. And this has already been beginning to be prophesized in the book of Revelations, but we're not there until the end of that prophecy yet. We're like in the midst of it, and it's still kind of like brewing, so like reaching still the peak. So and the thing is as well, that when you're in the experiment, it's like when you're inside a problem, it's unless you're like very hyper aware and a great observer, and maybe even have some kind of psychology background, it's hard for you to take yourself out of the picture and then see the bigger picture, right? This is what we're talking about today, and what I'm offering you as a new perspective, because I've already seen this from a high angelic bird's eye point of view. Because I also do this as a psychologist, right? I have to do this as a therapist. I can't be enmeshed in their problems, because then I wouldn't be able to help them. And that's again what we're also trying to see in the worldwide lens. That's this point of view that we're trying to understand and gain clarity about what's happening, what's the purpose behind that, and why are there so many losses in our life? Why are we losing people? They did nothing wrong, and maybe they did nothing wrong in particular, but that's not the point. The point that these light workers are trying to communicate to us is that this is about whether you've been on the mission or not. And if you're awoken, are you doing something with your gifts that you've been given, right? Because when you're in the spiritual journey and you are awoken, you have gifts. It just comes with a package, and it's still up to our free will, and that's the test of life. That's basically the school part of it, right? How much of integrity are you, which actually was one of the Advent messages for today, and I think that's very appropriate, because this is about integrity. It really does come down to integrity as a light worker, having honor as being chosen. Remember that we're all chosen, but first of all, are you willing to accept the duty that comes along with it? It's like being accepted into the army. You're not going to just back out. You're not going to just do some things and not other things, and then you're not going to do things low quality, because that means your life not only is at risk, which is kind of tying into what we're talking about, right? But also you're risking the lives of those around you, your teammates in the army. And by us light workers, whoever is not doing the work, you're wasting basically air in this earth, you can say, because as a light worker, it's like, as a light worker, you have just no choice. And there is such a thing that there are people that are even not meant to ever awaken. And that's even where this cosmic wisdom comes in. And I know that maybe not everybody might believe this, but this is something that I've studied and I truly resonate with, and I believe is true. Because this has been channeled by other people who were very closely tied in with this cosmic awareness, and they've written books about it, and they've, as well recorded videos. There's been documentaries about it, and I've done all the research to that. And so what the conclusion was is that there are certain people that incarnate from star systems. Like take Jesus, for example. I know that he is one of the ascended masters. He is an enlightened being. But us light workers as well are not necessarily just a human, because then that would mean that we wouldn't have like these superhero powers and abilities to be able to lead others. We need to have a higher hand in a way to be able to lead the collective, which is the followers, the main event you can say, and it's the humans who historically inhabited the earth, right? Again, I'm always bringing the Atlanteans and Lemurian civilization, but I really, really closely connect with them, and I believe that they're also connecting with us light workers and guiding us on what to say, what kind of creative projects to put out there. Because remember, creativity and art always has an underneath meaning, okay? And so they're definitely working hard with us during these moments, especially during these tragic moments and chaotic uncertainties that we're all dealing with. But the good news, okay, so the Atlanteans originally are not from Earth, and I don't know why I'm stuttering so much, but that's when I'm kind of like channeling information that I'm even learning right now, okay? And that's how it kind of feels and looks like. But the Atlanteans, remember, are not from this Earth. They were from another planet. Their planet got destroyed, and they came to Earth to inhabit because they needed a place to live, right? The survivors. And that's just one example, because remember, the ancient Egyptians, and specifically the ones who built during the golden eras, the vortexes, which is the Great Sphinx, the pyramids, it was Lemurians, which was the mixture of Atlanteans and humans, the babies of it, but they had lineage. You see, this is how, you know, generational gifts get passed down, right? When different cultures, races come together, right? And so that's kind of what happened, and it created the Lemurians. And then the Lemurians were also beginning to become extinct, because obviously it wasn't like there was that much survivors that came to this planet. And there were a few survivors that migrated to ancient Egypt, which was very close to the continent that they were living in, which was Mur, which obviously already sank. And that's why they then traveled, because that's after the sinking of Atlantis, right? But the actual continent's name is Mur, M-U-R. You can look it up. There's an ancient world map called the Pethora, something like that. That's the ancient map. And they migrated literally by land, by walking, just like Jesus and all the Hebrews back in the day migrated from Egypt back to Canaan, right? In the book of Moses, which was the Exodus, they migrated to ancient Egypt, and it was them, the Lemurians, and Lemurians were really very tall people. And it's even said that, you know, this is like a myth that in Mount Sinai, which is in California, you know, beneath the surface of that mountain, which is why a lot of spiritual things happen when people go there. It's said that there is like another realm, obviously, where they've hidden in another dimension, just like mythical creatures hide in different dimensions, and they're not in our visible space anymore, in our 3D world, you can say, because there were many people who just didn't believe anymore, and they were becoming endangered, you can say, by the people who were very much like anti that, right? Like, think of when all the persecution started to come up as the golden age started to wane, and we started to actually move into the dark ages, which was the age of Pisces, the age that Christ came. Jesus came to earth during the darkest moments when we needed him the most, and no coincidence, right? So this is what I'm saying. He is not a human, he is a star being. And there's a lot of movies actually on Netflix as well that now confirm this, now in the modern era, and why he was so different, why he was a miracle worker. Because these miracle gifts are only available to those on a higher consciousness and living on a higher level. And he came to help from the inside out, and that's what all of us light workers are here to do. And now this doesn't mean that all of the light workers are developed at the level of Jesus, you can say. Let's bring Jesus as our main example, right? Because he already came evolved, and he came like as the second right hand of God. He knew specifically what he was here to do. He came with a mission, and from a little boy, he was on that mission. And that's what you as a light worker will feel. You'll feel pulled to do things that are your mission. And there's no getting you out of that, right? There's no changing your mind as well. It's like you become stubborn in a good way with just staying on your path, because you know you're on a mission and this is what you're here to do. And this is what's really being ignited during these times with the spiritual evolution that's coming in during December, preparing us for the new year. And I will be doing the last final episode, a holiday special for the new year, with the last theme, which is what we're building up to. And this is what we're awakening to, being revealed truths, but also being revealed the extent of our gifts. Confirmation that you are on point. If your gift is your intuition per se, like mine, you're being given confirmation after confirmation that you're correct. So nothing else can tell you otherwise, because you already know that your gifts are strong. And this is what's needed, because leaders need to be strong. They can't be fickle in this leadership position. If we had a king and a queen who weren't sure about their gifts, their abilities to rule the land, how are they going to rule successfully, right? So this is very, very powerful that's coming in, because this is all guided by the divine. This is all part of divine plan. And it's gonna feel a little rocky, you can say. You know, I feel like there is a lot of ascension symptoms that we are experiencing, and ascension symptoms are just very like subtle, you can say, but it's just things like this, like stuttering, you can say, or being more clumsy than usual, or just, you know, maybe even energy levels going up and down. Those are kind of ascension symptoms. Maybe sleeping more because your body's needing to regenerate and is perhaps upgrading as well during the sleep. And all of these things are happening, and our cosmic beings are helping us as well, especially the light workers, because we're needing to show up stronger come this new year. This is what we are preparing for, to be on the spiritual mission and literally be like on the billboard for all to see, like in everybody's face. And it might feel scary if you've been like in hermit a lot, if you are, you know, perhaps very reserved in your personality. But all of this will slowly be waning, and you're going to be given the strength and confidence from within to be able to show up, because it's now, right now, and now is the time. And love never fails. So as long as you have love for what you do, as long as you keep doing things with love, which is very important, every single detail needs to be done with love. Because if not, you're going to get frustrated, you're going to get overwhelmed, you're going to get stressed, and then it's going to defeat the purpose. And so, yeah, that's kind of like the first part of what I want to bring up. And there's another part that I actually want to bring up as well. Alright, so I do want to share today a very special message that was actually written by the Palladian dimension. Okay, and I found this, and we're going to read it today, because this is something that's happening as we're entering literally in December at a spiritual higher cosmic level that is obviously influencing our personal life right here on this planet, as well as what you're doing with your life. And also it's like a wake-up call to get on mission, get on track, and get to work. And don't be afraid of working overtime. And the way that's going to help us to get through this pressure that we're all dealing with, because I feel like there is a lot of pressure coming in, like we're being pressured to step it up a level, step it up a notch, because this is part of the upgrade. Okay, and if you're resisting this, then it's basically not going to be in your favor, because we need to go with the flow, and we're always in service of something greater, right? It's not up to us to decide how exactly we want to live our life. It's always up to the divine, and the divine guides us, the divine instructs us what to do next. And so this is what we're going to read today. 5 groups of light workers are going home, basically leaving Earth, right? Going home is going back to your star system. And there's different star systems in the cosmos that we're not going to talk about today, but might be something interesting to bring up next fashion show, because that's also related to perhaps different kinds of missions that you're being called to, definitely. All right, so mission not fully accomplished. So even though these light workers have not accomplished their mission, because that's usually how long light workers stay on this planet, until their mission is completed, fulfilled. And that's why it can seem like a light worker's life is all focused and circled around that mission, because that's like in their heart, that's ingrained in their soul. This is like, for example, you know, those crazy scientists back in the day that their whole life revolved, that's the word I was looking for, like the solar system, right? The whole all the planets revolve around the sun. The mission, all our life, all that we do in our life revolves around the mission, okay? And that's how you know that you're a light worker, because that's how you should feel. Please share message in its entirety. So let's begin. All right, so dear family of love and light, divine and mother, Father God, have an important announcement. And it's so interesting that, you know, I've been putting like on one of my Instagram posts, like a lot of them, these words like attention, announcement. I usually don't use that. It's only when it's something important. But then this is kind of resonating with this. There's an announcement from upstairs that's been wanting to come through, and this is the moment that it's coming through. Mother, Father, God, right? Mother Gaia, Father God in heaven, and the universe, which is the whole cosmos, and the planetary council have announced the following message. The situation on the planet is extraordinarily dire, and it requires extraordinary measures and actions from the heavens. After serious investigation and examination of the light workers and Gaia's, which is Earth, remapping processes gigantic workload demand, right? Because there's a lot of work to do to be able to ascend all of humanity onto these higher dimensions. And this is speaking to all of us, which is the family of light. We're all family as light workers, a part of the light council, the white light council, and they're speaking back to us. And it's very interesting because actually a year ago, when I used to do my spirituality retreats, in the beginning, before I came up with this new format and template of doing it, I was actually doing sacred prayer circles with cosmic messages. There was like this special book that had all these messages from the different white light council and archangels. And I think it's going to be interesting if we bring that book back, because I think it's important. I think those messages are now needed again. All right, so we have decided to take serious steps in order to get the planetary remapping done. Gaia has agreed with the divine decision. And what's this decision that we're looking at? So now we make the announcement. We, the divine, and the entire entourage of Mother, Father, God, and the spiritual hierarchy of the planet Earth has made the following decision. The decision is to take light workers who have not done their light work on their Earth journey home, period. The divine will bring millions of advanced light workers here in the next few months to replace those who will be brought home. And these are these upgrades. So if you're a light worker and perhaps you're not necessarily that advanced yet, you're going to be upgraded to get this advanced in your new level of advanced, so that you can replace those who are resisting. You can call rebellious to this mission. That's basically what it is. Like they're being just sent home because they're not doing what they're here to do. It's like you're being kicked out of the army, and they're being obviously replaced with advanced light workers. And remember that we're not born advanced, right? We need to be trained in order to get advanced. So we're being trained. Those who want to do the work and are willing to put in that time and effort and are willing to do whatever it takes, devote their whole life to this mission. So hence this renewal of commitment. We're being asked, sure, are you sure you want to do this? Because it's yours. It is possible if you accept everything that comes along with it, right? Remember that reaching the top, being a leader, being some kind of public figure in the world doesn't come without responsibility. It comes with a burden along with it, but not in a negative sense, but in a positive sense. But it's just about discipline and continuing to do what you're being told to do, basically. It's not like, it's like being, let's say, crowned a queen or a king, right? They can have all the luxury in the world. They have a great life as a king or queen, but if they're not doing the work, if they're not leading the people, if they're not making decisions for the military, for their country, believe it, that's a 24/7 job. It's not all rainbows and sunshines like it seems. It's still a lot of work, and even a lot of headaches, you can say, because they have huge decisions on their shoulders. They're making decisions not only for themselves, but for the whole world. Or should I say not the whole world, but their whole country, right? But as us light workers, it's for the whole world, for the collective. So we're being asked to think twice and make sure that you really follow through on your decision, because there's no going back. And there's always negative repercussions if you decide to go to the army and then just not fight, right? What would be the train? That's like a waste of a trained soldier, you can say. A waste of a placement in that training school for the army, right? Everybody that trains for the army is expected to do something with what they've been taught, because if not, that's a waste. All right, so of course there are different levels of light workers, and they have different levels of advancement on their spiritual path. So depending on what level you're at, you're going to be continuously trained to reach higher levels, because you're needed, obviously. And now more than ever, that some are going to be taken home. So the first group of light workers that the divine will bring home are the ones who have been assigned a divine mission, and they're just not performing their mission for whatever reason, which is no longer relevant. They don't care anymore. It's like, it's too late, basically, right? You've been wasting your gifts, and you've been misusing your power. That's what happened to the Atlantean civilization, the ancient Atlanteans. They misused their high consciousness and their high level of technology that they reached. They misused it for power and greed, and that's what they got as a result. It all got tumbled down. This group of the light workers will leave the planet the first, because that's like the worst of, you can say, like, you're breaking the oath basically of light worker, right? So the second group of light workers are the ones who have agreed to conduct their divine mission and yet have taken no action. So this can be due to procrastination, laziness, or for whatever reason, just resisting. So it's almost like the first group, but they've agreed to do it, just not yet. That's you might as well say no, right? It's like you're saying, I'm gonna do it, just not yet. So if you ever say that, if you ever hear someone say that, psychologically, if you know how to read people and their style of communication, that just basically means I'm not gonna do it. You just scratch out the not yet. And that's kind of like what the second group of light workers are guilty of. The result of that is hurting the divine plan. You're delaying God's plan and their own responsibility and their own divine plan. So these light workers will be brought home on an individual basis. The divine will examine each case basically and do a further discussion. Besides these two groups, there are some advanced souls who are divine mother-father aspects. They have been greatly taken care of during their stay on the planet. However, there is very little performance out of this group of privileged souls. So this is the group that they've perhaps done the mission already. Maybe they've shown up for a period of their life, and now they've reached the top of their success, and they decide, you know what, I'm going to take a hiatus and I'll enjoy the luxury that this divine mission has created for my lifestyle. And now we're just going to lay back and enjoy the mundane aspects of this world. It's kind of like a hedonist mentality, which is also the great sin, you can say, because that's overindulgence of what Earth has to offer. That's too much play and not enough work, right? So there needs to be a healthy balance of work and play. You take the hiatus in your life when it's called, but not forever, right? It's just like maybe like a year or so, but then you have to get back to work. Because there's always things to do, and it doesn't matter what age you are, right? Take a look at Tony Robbins, and it's just that I'm bringing him up because he's like a very mainstream, you can say, public speaker, but he's a light worker, and look at his age, he's like above 60, and he continues to show up, and very big, bigger than ever. Every year he gets bigger, right, in his presentations, in his concerts, and he's showing up, and he takes his vacations as needed because you need to recover, you need to heal. And that's again the blessing and the reward that you're given, but it's not about overly indulging in it. And there's people that do that. There's people who are on endless vacations, going on, endless trips to, those vacation spots, but like all year round, and they're not doing much work for the collective, and that's not what you're here to do, right? So the divine has decided to bring these souls home too. They have had their run, and now the show is over. They've now taken advantage of this divine mission, basically. All right. And the fourth group are the light workers and star seeds who have refused to listen to the divine decrees and the divine callings and the spiritual laws. So these are people who are misusing the spiritual journey. There are spiritual laws, hence morality. We've been talking about this, right? And I believe we did mention a lot about this in the previous fashion show, that require all souls on the planet to follow and respect the laws and Mother, Father, God. It's kind of like the 10 Commandments that Moses was given by God for all of us to follow. These souls have deliberately been up against the spiritual laws and Mother, Father's representatives and fighting against the divine plan. There are divine decrees that have been given to these souls. However, their consciousness has no room to respect the spiritual laws and hierarchies of the spiritual world. These are human distortions, basically. And now the divine has decided to take these ones home. And there's a fifth group. The last group of the light workers that the divine has decided to bring home are the ones who have no interest in serving Gaia and her remapping process. Hence the ascension process that we're all going through. So maybe these souls have refused to do their inner soul searching, which is required to heal, to be able to ascend and continue this remapping process, which is the building up of this new earth. This is the ascension of Mother Gaia here. And it begins with us individual souls, and especially as light workers that need to guide the way, we should be already advanced and done the healing to guide others, teach others how to do it. These souls are very self-centered, in other words, so they're in their ego space. So they have awakened, but all they do is for their own ascension and enlightenment. So this is where A Course in Miracles comes in and helps you to discern what's of the ego and what's of the higher self. Self-enlightenment became the only goal to these souls. Serving the divine and Gaia holds no interest for them. So some of these souls have been on the planet for a long time, and yet they have done little light work for the planet and their divine mission. So this is the group, and even the older wavelength, the older generation of wavelength, the wavelength of older generations, so the older people who have been awakened for a long time in secret, right? Because this is something that's relatively new. Everybody coming up and out with their spiritual gifts, with their light work, with, what's their mission, find your calling. Take a look at Eckhart Tolle. He's a relatively modern spiritual teacher. But back in the day, there was not many people like Eckhart Tolle or Paulo Coelho, right? And there were people who were awoken many years prior in different portals, in different years that there have been light workers waking up. And these are the people that have been in hiding and not doing anything about it, not doing anything to serve the collective humanity, which they should have been. They should have been setting the stage for future generations, right? Think of John the Baptist. John the Baptist was the one that set the stage for Jesus. If he wouldn't have done his work, his life on this planet would have been useless, you can say. And he would have been replaced by someone else to help Jesus, who was the coming Messiah, be able to come prepared and have like an environment on where to bring about his gifts. Okay, so take that metaphor. So now their journey on earth is over. They're being called to go home. In the next couple of weeks and months, the divine will bring a lot of light workers home. And I don't think it's so coincidental as well that, you know, with this whole tragedy that's been happening worldwide, what are the chances that it's actually been older and elders that have been the ones who have been suffering the most, you can say. And I feel like there's a spiritual reason for this. It is the focus for the divine for the next few weeks. And you know, people who are in hiding about their spiritual awokenness, trust me that even people close to them might not even be aware of this. That's how much they've hidden that. And so you might not be aware of this. Maybe you've had someone in your family that was older that passed on, and maybe they were awoken and they didn't tell you. And maybe this is why. Maybe you're finding out why, right? But they didn't do anything about it, right? They didn't share this knowledge. So in the next couple of weeks and months, the divine will bring a lot of light workers home. It is the focus for the divine for the next few weeks. And this is all of December. Once that is done, and remember, this is not like there's going to be like a whole tragedy now in December, right? But it's going to be building up into the next year. Slowly, right? So once that is done, after the new year, when the newly assigned light warriors, we're being called to step into our warriorness as light workers. Warriors of light. As these newly assigned light workers arrive on the planet, or hence upgrade if you're already on this planet, Gaia's remapping process will be more serious and prominent. This is the divine decree. Your mother, Father God, the divine, and the company of heaven and Gaia, together we bring to you this message today. That's a very powerful message. And you know what? I am going to bring this book that I was talking about to give us an extra prayer for today, an extra message. And then we're going to do a little fun Christmas playing card oracle reading. And that's how we're going to end today's show. Alright, so scratch that about the book. It's actually charging because it's on my iPad. So if that charges up, then it's meant for today. But if not, we might start a series actually. Oh, I think that's a great idea. See how ideas come up. We're going to restart the Cosmic Consciousness show very soon at My School of Light, which is exclusive. You need to become a member to get access to all my educational series, including the weekly poetry class as well that we always do after these very glamorous shows. This is the holiday glamour show, right? And we're going to start a new series, the Cosmic Consciousness show, which we did begin right in the summer, I remember. So we're going to continue now with this new series, part of it you can say, where we're going to be getting messages from the White Light Council and our archangels, but specifically the White Light Council guiding us on this cosmic mission. So that's going to be a very powerful series. Don't miss out. Go to christieramirez.com/school to learn more. There's a special Christmas sale. As you always know, I show up with Christmas season goodies for all of you, and this is it. So 50% off now. Be a member. All right. So I have here some holiday Christmas specific decks that I reserved just for this season. And this is a special deck that I actually is going to be my first time using it because I ordered this. This is a special tarot that I special ordered that is all Christmas. And it took like a few weeks that we couldn't even use it last Christmas because it came after the new year. So this is our first time using this deck. And these are Christmas regular playing cards, you know, like we play here, regular playing cards like they used to back in the day. But we're going to start with this tarot here. We're going to get messages about this spiritual evolution that we're all undergoing and how we can best harness these energies, stay on track, and continue to evolve, to become advanced. That is our goal today, to reach the advanced level on your soul journey. So very powerful because you know what? We're going to be needed now to show up more. So there's going to be a lot of pressure with more work on your mission. You're going to have to gain this spiritual strength, energy, and stamina to even stay up longer hours. You know, this is something that I've actually personally been dealing with. And it's actually happened coincidentally as well. I just realized right now how all of this is tying in together, how I've already been experiencing this upgrade. So it just charged. But ever since December, you know, Christmas season for me and also autumn is one of the busiest times of the year for my business, specifically my School of Light. But then Christmas season, I love to bring a lot of creative content. I have to, because it also raises my vibration and it makes me happy. And I can tell you, if I'm to be a little honest with all of you, you know, once December hit, the day that I was putting up my Christmas tree was actually the day before December, so the last day of November. And I wasn't as feeling like the Christmas spirit, and I was kind of frustrated because I wanted to be in the Christmas spirit. And I felt like, you know, I shouldn't be complaining, you know, because we all want things in our life, and maybe we're not there yet or have those things, or maybe feel alone, but that's just still no excuse, right, to not be happy in the moment. So I was feeling a little sad, you can say. And what's entering the Christmas season in a sad kind of vibe, right? And I can tell you literally, as I started, you know, filming the Advent messages specifically, that really raised my vibration, because that's what those messages are for. That series that I created to help us to step into 2022 in a high vibration, because we want to be able to manifest with the blink of an eye. We're going to have that gold Midas touch, but we need to be in this high vibration. And I can tell you that the more that we are in December, I feel more the Christmas spirit. I've been doing my homework, which is watching Christmas movies every single night, spending time by my Christmas tree. I do yoga by my Christmas tree. I meditate here, and it's just been so healing. And I feel like this is what's needed for all of us. You know, returning to this childlike, playful nature is part of this spiritual evolution. We need to be lighthearted yet still serious about the journey. There's a healthy balance between two, a healthy medium between the two, right? And this is what we're being called to focus on and to strive for. If that's something that you need, if you need a goal, strive for that. Strive to be playful but still be serious. Don't be overly playful and take things lightly, that you lose touch of what's the important thing. So be disciplined, but then learn to make it fun along the way. Learn to do it with love, with grace, but still very serious in your values, in your belief system, in your philosophy for life, in your integrity specifically. That's showing honor and respect to God. So what do we need to know? Let's see what message just comes intuitively. There's no specific question that I'm really asking. We have the Ace of Pentacles. What a beautiful card. This is like the new offering of even financial stability that I feel is coming in. A lot of prosperity with the spiritual mission, because guess what? All spiritual missions will always be rewarded with abundance. God will always provide for you if you're on the mission, because He needs you to live a good life, right? And so this is what's coming. This is Santa's. Let's say that God is Santa here. This is His promise to us. And interesting that He's holding a lantern, which is us light workers. That's what we do to the world. We light up the dark. We are the lantern. Think of the Hermit card. The Hermit is cloaked and he has a lantern. Walking through the dark tunnel, he has the light. He's already enlightened. He has the wisdom. He has the answers. So we're being called to maybe not necessarily just like show up, but maybe do it more through creative outlets like artwork, writing, maybe writing a book during this time. This is going to be one of my goals for 2022. Because those are sometimes more effective forms of communication. Speaking, you know, videos like this. Because sometimes when we step out and become enmeshed in the chaos, it can actually blur the message and even taint the messenger in a way. That's why the Hermit is cloaked. Because he knows that in order to really get to the clarity, he needs to be shielded to be able to interpret correctly. So this is a little bit of what's coming. There are red flags like a stop sign here. To just be aware and be discerning of where you're at. But God does come with gifts. It says, here's Merry Christmas. May a merry heart accompany its hours. So this is about bringing in the joy and the hours of hard work that is required to make this mission work. Put in the love. Page of Wands. And interesting that there's roses. I was thinking a lot about roses today, like Christmas roses, to wish you a happy Christmas. This is what us lightworkers as well is doing. You know, I was thinking to myself actually yesterday, because we all need this drive and this incentive of why we do things. Why do I show up here? Why do I go that extra mile to bring in holiday and spirit to all of you for Christmas? And even, I saw the new Mariah Carey Magical Christmas, which I love what she did last year as well. And it's actually what inspired me to begin my love show series, to be honest. I began it with the holiday special spectacular, and even she says it, she feels like she's being called to make a spectacular for all of us, to bring in the spirit of Christmas back alive, because that's what people have lost. And this can also be the hope and the love that people have lost, right? And as light workers, this little boy is wearing white and he has roses of passion all over him. We're being called to rebirth the planet in a way and bring joy back alive. You see, there's a whole bunch of people dancing in the background. This beautiful, beautiful message. Let's get one more message from here. And remember, a page energy is also very playful in their approach. So we are being guided to be playful, not be like overly judgy or strict, but definitely do come with the light. And same card, but we have the King of Wands here. The King of Wands. He's carrying a Christmas tree, this Santa here, with a long beard, like this old soul. Kind of like a provider in a way. Let's get more insight here. And the Four of Cups, Santa coming down the chimney. Right? We are bringing gifts to the world. That's what it's about, right? This is a great time for charity as well. This is Sagittarius energy, being more humanitarian, being of service, being more giving than usual. Because this is not only what's going to light our emotional cup up, fill our emotional cup, and light our soul up, but it's also what's going to light up the world, and the people need it. It's kind of like this Santa here, who's very privileged, and this is like, let's say, a homeless mother and son here. Let's say like they're homeless, poor. The privileged have a duty to show up for those that don't have. They have to, because then what's the point of you having all that you have? You see, so what great things can you do this Christmas season? Every year I do host a special Christmas children's charity and fundraiser, you can say, because I wish that children, who are underprivileged would have this kind of knowledge and have the guidance that a mentor like me, a soul coach, can give them to lead a better life in their future. I've worked with children all my life as a therapist, and all ages as well. And I've seen the different life phases that they go through, and the older that they get, let me tell you, the more difficult it is for them to change their ways, but also their belief about what they've dealt with. So especially if they have been under childhood trauma, if they've experienced divorce or separation of their parents, or abuse, or anything like that, violence, right? And I've met children, a lot of traumatized children, which is a very sad story, but I've literally been in the presence of these children, and my presence healed these children, but it was still difficult for them to understand why they had to witness that. Why did they have to experience that? I've worked with children who've been from foster home to foster home, orphans basically. How sad is that families don't want them? Or that these families are so messed up and distorted in their ways and dysfunctional that instead of giving them a beautiful home, they make it worse for this child and even get abused by even foster parents, right? So things like this we need to go deep into and make that our motivating factor and drive to want to help, especially children, because children are the most helpless beings on this planet. Like little puppies. Think of a little puppy, so helpless, right? How can you not get attached to just a little cute puppy? How can you not get attached to these innocent children who have no fault and are experiencing all this darkness? We are to light up their lives. So definitely spend a lot of time doing things for children during these moments. And I'm showing up here for the older collective, for all of us young adults and adults, because this is what's gonna bring your joy, make you vibrational, so that you can do the same for these children in your life, right? That's how it works. So we all need this light in this planet. So there was a card that fell, but I guess not important. But definitely don't let yourself fall. You need to stay standing strong on your two legs, because children depend on you, right? Literally, whether you have children or not. You know, for me, my businesses are like my babies in a way, and the people are like your children. And finally, we got another ace here, and we got an 8 of swords. Don't let any past traumas stand in the way of your joy, and then being the light for others. You know, if you've experienced as an adult childhood wounds and traumas, you should be doing everything in your power to offer the opposite to your children, right? Because you wouldn't want them to experience the darkness that you experienced. So this should be a motivation in and of itself as well. And then we got the Ace of Cups, which is a great energy. This is about emotional fulfillment for all involved, right? The older generations, the parents, the grandparents, and the children and the grandchildren. So there's a lot of family healing coming in with this Christmas season. Very beautiful. Happy Christmas, and when over, many happy ones in store. You see, that's the point of Christmas. Yes, we are celebrating the birth of Jesus, but also the holiday of itself, the whole Santa, the elves, the magical winter, the North Pole, all these beautiful things that these fairy tales and Disney movies bring alive, is also to bring spirit of joy. So don't take that for granted, and don't underestimate the beautiful potential of that to heal. That's what's needed. So I really suggest, as a homework for all of us, to take a pause, a little bit of a handman energy during this Christmas season. This is the number 12 card. Take a pause. This is December, right? The 12th month of the year. This is the final month to take a little retreat, a little Christmas holiday joy retreat. Take a pause and enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment to the fullest. Do as much creative things that you can do. Christmas baking, Christmas maybe quilting, maybe you want to quilt and make cozy things. Christmas movie watching, cozy up by the fireplace, go out with your partner and do Christmas things, ice skating, go out to Christmas dinners, whatever that may be, but have fun along the process. And then finally, wow, we have like a wedding card here. This is the Knight of Pentacles. This is like a knight in shining armor that I'm getting. I do feel like there is a lot of Christmas love in the air. I'm thinking like the Christmas roses. I have a like Christmas love, serendipity, the kissing under the mistletoe. The mistletoe has been a great symbol that's been coming up with us. And guess what? Remember, every fashion show has a symbol. The symbol for the Christmas season is going to be the mistletoe. This is the kiss under the mistletoe that's going to break away any illusions, any struggle that you've been dealing with, right? Kind of like it breaks a spell, like in the Sleeping Beauty. True love's kiss will break that spell. And we're waking up from our long slumber in the Sleeping Beauty. This Sleeping Beauty was, hence, you know, you can say cursed, and it's symbolism as to what's happened to humanity. They've been asleep for so long. They're like walking zombies. And we're being called to wake up. And of course, the spiritual couples coming together for you. So yeah, I'm also seeing like a Romeo and Juliet here. It's very, very beautiful. Like a nice, you know, luxurious ballroom. And this is like almost like asking this little girl to dance with them. So it's so beautiful and innocent. This is innocent love. There's a lot of heart chakra healing with this green energy. She's wearing a green dress, as I am today. I was really guided to wear the green today. I have an exact dress in red, which I'll be wearing for the love show, but look at this, the red cloak from Santa. And this is the Six of Cups. This love, this Christmas season, whether it's romantic love, children love, family love, this is going to bring more harmony and balance into our life this new year. Because when we're focused on the mission, we're going to need this balance. We're going to need to kind of slow down along the mission work. So there's a healthy balance of trying to do everything, but still having fun along the process, enjoying the life, enjoying the people around you. Because this is how we stay healthy spiritually, right? And this is how we stay grounded. So beautiful energy that's coming through for us. So that's how we're going to end with this card. And this is definitely blessed by angels. Let's bring in the Christmas playing cards. Just get one card here. Oh, and look at this. The mistletoe. This is our symbol for this Christmas fashion show. The mistletoe with the bell, the holy bell, waking us all up. Wow, I'm gonna actually draw this. Definitely attach that video. A little picture here. And of course, I always come up with the channel's message. I feel like I did, but there might be another one, so I will attach it as well. Do a little voiceover. One final message for all of us today in the collective, light workers. What is our guidance for this December Christmas season? And we got 4 cards. May you have a joyous Christmas. So God is telling us to have a beautiful, joyous Christmas. Playing time, a Merry Christmas, definitely play. Wow, interesting that this Santa is wearing a lavender cloak. This is about mindfulness, third eye chakra. Meditation is going to help during these times. So do a lot of meditation. There's always a special meditation for New Year's that I do. I might do a special Christmas one that might be very healing for us as well. And we have, and take a look at my spirituality retreats during this holiday Christmas season as well. Definitely going to help us. And then here we have kind of like traveling. This is the missionary energy that I'm getting. We as light workers are missionaries. So know that wherever you're being guided to go, if you're being guided to travel the world, you know, remember, travel is opening up for us. And it's for a specific reason. The light workers who are being asked to travel is because they're meant to bring the light to other places, light up the world literally. So don't be afraid to wherever God is guiding you to be at, because that's where you need to be. And it's being guided by your angels, by God himself, by source. This is the missionary energy that's coming through. And I do feel like with this, you know, full moon in Sagittarius that we're having with this Christmas season right now, this weekend, it is going to bring in more open travel for those that are needed to travel. And this is the Ace of Pentacles, you see? Again, we got the same card. This is for prosperity reasons, for the mission to work. Five of you can say swords here, and then 5 of cloves. And this is the true love energy again. Look at this beautiful 2 horses. And it's also the yin and the yang, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, the black and the white, the yin yang symbol. Blessed by beautiful Christmas roses or poinsettias that we see here. A bright and happy Christmas. So I do think that this is coming in. There's a lot of change for this to happen, number 5. Wow. And wow, this is the final one. This is the spiritual ascension that we're all also undergoing, the upgrades. Look at this. The divine baby masculine is actually holding the gold ladder for the divine feminine to climb up and enter this new window. Remember that doors have been closing for us, right? Doors that don't serve us, especially as light workers. But there's been windows that God has been opening. And guess what? It's like a little Christmas heaven in there. And it's like we're being saved. And even this little spirit puppy is coming along with you. The spirit animal, right? Our little spiritual pets. Such a beautiful energy. And it's very like coquette and flirty, this energy. Because this is all spiritual ascension. This is the spiritual evolution that we're all undergoing. This is how we're going to end today's show. Make sure that you check out my exclusive weekly poetry class at my School of Light, ChristieRamirez.com/school. And I will see you all next month for the New Year's Holiday Spectacular Fashion Show Red Carpet event. My name is Christie Ramirez and I'm your soul coach. Thank you all for watching today and joining this special show. Namaste.